Good evening and welcome to Legal Tech Live episode 53. I'm Nick Rishwain here with my co-host. And
Ivan Rakelin.
That's right. And he's relaxed
2 in a row.
tonight. 2 in a row. It's amazing. And we're here with our guest tonight, who is Amir Reshef of DealCloser. And you can find them at dealcloser.com. Amir, welcome. Let me tell everybody.
Wait, before we start.
We already started, my friend.
All right. Since we started, Amir, very strong name. And I have to guess.
He does
Is it
have to
Iftar for you?
Sorry?
Was it Iftar for you? Or Eid al-Fitr?
No, Israeli.
Oh, okay, Israeli. My bad.
Yeah, for me, it's a Hebrew name.
Gotcha.
Ivan.
Never mind.
Yeah.
As well. All right. So a little bit about DealCloser, and then we'll jump in and talk with Amir. DealCloser was founded in 2016. It was created and developed by two corporate lawyers who wanted to make the transaction process more efficient. They were frustrated that such a huge integral process was undertaken manually amidst all of the other technology available. Almost every other aspect of modern business can now be managed by mobile device, but clients participating in legal transactions still had to print documents to sign them or physically come to their law firm to sign each document. Lawyers still had to track almost all aspects of a deal manually. As a result, DealCloser's co-founders started DealCloser with one thing in mind: to provide lawyers with a better way to do transactions that would benefit them and their clients. I think that's pretty succinct. Amir, tell us how you came up with this idea. A little bit about your background first, if you would.
Sure. First of all, thank you for inviting me to be on the show. Really excited to talk with you guys.
Our pleasure.
How I got started was basically living the problem. I was at a large international law firm here in my city of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And we have articling. So we do this process called articling, so we don't just start as a first year associate. We go into a law firm and we article. Okay. And that's where I started working on my first few deals. And that's where I experienced and lived the problem firsthand, and sometimes I was living that problem at like 5 a.m. And my co-founder and I, we just really were surprised that there was just such a manual process being used. And it's not just at my firm, it's all over. It's a universal process. So from that experience, from talking about it, we had this idea. Then we didn't do anything about it because we were articling students and then associates, and it took time before we're like, hey, remember that idea we had? And then we decided to pursue it.
So for the lay listeners out there, you're using the term of art, articling. Can you elaborate a little further on that? If that's a Canadian term of art, or is that an international term of art?
No, I mean, it might be in other jurisdictions, maybe other common law jurisdictions, definitely throughout Canada. And it's basically, instead of coming out of law school and being straight away a first year associate, where you're learning the same things an articling student learns, you're called an articling student. So there's less things you can do. You just don't have, and I don't even remember what they are now, but there's you can't do as much as an associate or a full lawyer can. And then after a year, it's like a training period. You're a student at law is I think the full name of this. And then you get called to the bar. And then you're truly an associate, and now you're in your first year associate.
So you're pre-mentee, essentially, before passing the bar.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, and the firms use it as an opportunity to put you in different groups. So in my article, I did 6 months in litigation, which is the only litigation I've ever done. And then 6 months in corporate. And then I continued from corporate into the corporate group. And then that's where I practiced for a few years before leaving to do this full time.
Okay.
Excellent. And so you practiced for, how many years were you practicing?
Almost 3.
Almost
after
3.
Articling.
After articling. Okay. And what kind of work were you doing, and what kind of that work was driving you nuts?
So it's interesting you asked that question. I used to measure, and this is not like an objective measurement, but I used to be there, especially as an articling student. I would doing the jobs I'd have to do, which were very much the non-value added manual tracking and creating signature pages and making sure everything got signed. So I used to measure my job as what percent of my job could someone off the street without a law degree do? And when I started,
I like to call it administrivia.
Exactly. And when you start, it's like, it was a huge percentage, like almost 100%. I mean, and it quickly decreases, and then you learn more and you start doing more, and you got to start somewhere, I guess. But so it was really the articling and first year associate years where I was truly in the like grunt work of not non-value added, non-legal works, like creating like tables in Word and making the borders disappear so that someone had a place to sign a document, that kind of stuff. Or checking every physical document and be like, oh, did we get all the signatures? Doing like QA on the deal, being like, okay, we missed someone's signature, we got to go bug them for it. And even that, when you're doing a really complex deal, stuff gets missed because these deals can be out of control with paper. And so, yeah, that's the job that caused this created this.
That caused it. I love it.
Yeah.
So was your problem generation started at 5 a.m, or you were just getting into it after overnight?
I was from the day before. That was like on some of the really big deals we've done. I was very lucky. I was very fortunate to work on some truly, for in Edmonton especially, some very large deals, including one that was $3 billion deal, which is huge for a city like Edmonton.
Oh wow! Let me guess, oil, gas.
So this is actually public, so you could go dig this out. It was the sale of a pharmacy chain.
That's a big deal in any community, really.
Yeah.
Maybe not as big in some, but that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, for Edmonton, we don't get a whole lot of in the billions,
Right.
M&A deals in the billions. It does happen, but so I was lucky to be on that. And on some of these other deals, other deals, it was like leave the office at 5:30 a.m., come back at 7 because we were on Toronto time too. So we had to be there 2 hours before. So yeah, there was days where, stretches of time where I was getting a few hours of sleep a night. Luckily, I lived right by the office, so I actually did get to go home and had quality time at home for an hour and a half, and then would go back. And there's no choice though, because when you're dealing with that much paper and getting it organized and making sure everything's moving along, when you're doing it in the physical world, it just takes time and throwing people at it. And so what happens.
So this is a common pain point we've seen, right, Ivan? It's usually a personal pain point that sort of starts the innovation.
It's a personal pain point that manifests itself into rage, and then it transitions from rage into starting a company to address it.
It does show. It does show a real problem.
If you're that angry about something, probably other people are too.
And so you and your co-founder, were you guys working together, or?
So we started our article together. I met him on the first day of my article. We went to the same university prior. We never knew each other though. And then we both started on day one of our article together. There was 5 of us total, and he started in corporate and I started in litigation. And so he actually came to me very early on in the articling year and said, the way we do deals, it's crazy. There should be an app. And I had no idea what he was talking about. And I forgot about it. And then when I started doing a deal, I came to him and said the same thing. He's like, yeah, that's what I was telling you about. I was like, now I get it. Right? Now I get it.
Finally, I got him to catch on.
Yeah. So and then from there we decided, we made a really terrible PowerPoint. Actually, I'd love to share it. I don't know if we can share these things, but
we can.
The worst PowerPoint in the world. Maybe I'll pull it up on screen sharing. It was so brutally bad. But that was enough. That was like the MVP of MVPs to get some feedback. We went around and asked some lawyers, would you use something like this? And that got us our first investment.
Interesting. So tell us about that.
Wait, hold up. Share that.
Yeah.
Let me pull this open and see if
it's do a screen share.
I'm proud of it, but it's embarrassing.
But it's where you started. And this was in 2016?
This was in maybe even earlier, because we didn't touch this idea for quite a while. We were busy being articling students and then associates. It took a while before we're like, hey, remember that idea? We should maybe do something about it. And then we made this PowerPoint, which I'm excited to share with the world for the first time ever.
Do you have screen share capability on your end?
I do. I'm just opening the PowerPoint up, and then I'll share my screen. It's just
want to make sure that you have that. Yeah, this is we do like to see these things, and this is good for the entrepreneurial journey here.
Yeah, this goes to show you how little you really need to do to. Oh, you have to enable screen sharing. Okay,
I do.
So
okay,
if you can do that, I'd be happy to share this.
Let's see if I have. All right, so this is where it gets really dicey for me. I'm actually going to make you the host, but it's really difficult. It hurts me to give away this kind of power.
I want to give it right back to you as soon as I can. This is too much power. Okay, I'm going to share my Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay. So can you guys see this?
Yes. Oh, look at that. Look at all the color in that.
Yeah, and that was back when we had capital D, capital C, which we've changed to lowercase, and that confuses everyone still. But so setting up a deal. Also, dealcloser looks nothing like any of these screens now.
So dealcloser actually has more colors than these screens. This is really impressive.
Yeah, and so you collect signatures. Then you build your closing agenda, and I guess you click there. And you decide who's going to sign the document.
All right.
And then you build your agenda, and you have all your documents, and you're saying who signs it, and it's who's responsible. You click there, and actually this part, I guess, kind of carried. No, it didn't. Then upload a document. Here's the prior versions. Here's who has to sign it. Then you generate a signature page, and so it automatically generates the signature blocks. You can customize the header and the footer, then appends it to the document that was uploaded.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess send documents for execution, which this is not at all like dealcloser. You get an email saying, hey, log in, sign your documents. You log in. There's the document. Now this is me as a client, so I can pull up the document and look at it. See my signature page. I approve the ones that I want to sign, and then my signature appears. My deal is 66% executed. I can filter to show me just outstanding.
So you guys wanted to show them the time as it was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As signatures come in, I can see how much is done, and that actually does exist now in the final product.
And I don't know what that feature is called. It's not a clock. What is that? What is a feature like that called? We've seen this before.
We just call it I think a signature widget or something.
Okay.
I can't remember on the UI, but it's like a widget. And then export a closing book. You get a zip file. This actually has changed significantly. And then mobile or tablet, you can review. You get a notification. And yeah, that was V000.1 or whatever of
that was the slide. That was the pitch deck one.
Well, it's really your mock-up, right? Of how you wanted the flow to go, right? And so who did you pitch it to?
We pitched it. So we actually went to our friendly lawyers at the firm that were much more senior to us. And okay, I'm going to try to hand you back.
I get so nervous without that power, and our guests really get drunk with power.
There you go. There we go. You have the power now. So we went to some lawyers that were senior to us. We really respected their opinion, and we went to them, and they're like, "Yeah, that we would use that." And they actually gave us a small investment to start and go build a non-functional prototype that looked much more like what the final product is now. Well, I shouldn't say final because it's constantly iterating, but what dealcloser is today. It was completely non-functional. It was interactive, so you could click around, but it wasn't actually doing anything. And so the PowerPoint led to that non-functional prototype, which led eventually to the MVP and beta, and that's kind of how it grew.
And just briefly, I want to thank Mo for being here. Morris Lilienthal's watching in the Facebook group. Thank you, Morris, also known as Mo. I like Mo personally. And if you have any questions, Mo, please let us know. Yeah. So, Amir, it's come a long way since that mock-up.
It's a real company now.
It's a real company now. And tell us who your target market is. We were chatting about this a little bit
totally
before we started.
Yeah, so for us, we're pretty agnostic to, as I said, to size of law firm. Our biggest law firm has 200 lawyers at it. Our smallest is 1, and everything in between. And I think that's because of the way corporate lawyers do deals. They work in teams. So even at a large law firm, it's still a small team on a specific project. So kind of the size doesn't matter. What matters to us is the type of law.
Okay.
So corporate law, tax law. We have quite a few tax firms on the platform. So any kind of corporate business transactional, all those synonyms. That's the clients. That's what we look for in a client. Now, I never practiced litigation except for in my 6 months at the start. So I don't know if this is useful for litigators or family lawyers. I don't think it is, but maybe they'd find a way to use it. But we don't talk to them or go after them in any way.
They're not. Yeah, you're not spending time on them right now.
No, they're not the target market.
Okay, and out of that target,
focused on transactions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fully focused on that. Out of that target market, I'm assuming. I never did anything really. I did small incorporations and things like that, LLCs, when I was law clerk. But I'm assuming there's a variety of different things that you guys do. I've seen some of them on what are the main, you do articles of incorporation, you do mergers and acquisitions. What other items?
Yeah, so to us, it doesn't really matter what type of deal you're doing. There's only so many ways to exchange documents and get them signed, which ultimately at the core it's an oversimplification, but that is the corporate transaction process. So to us, a deal, and a law firm wouldn't consider an incorporation a deal, but it's the same requirement. Organizational documents need to get signed by the client, and then that forms part of the minute book. So that's a very basic deal. But the purchase of a gas station or sale of any kind of business, that's a deal. Mm-hmm. More complex M&A deals like the purchases, that's still a purchase and sale, but cross-border deals. If you have parties signing all over the world, there's an advantage to using, doing things digitally versus with paper.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to go too far into this, but we have a lot of very happy tax lawyers, and what tax lawyers do to me is a mystery. They just tell the corporate lawyers what to do. There's whatever, the reorgs they do and whatever, like the share exchanges and I'm going to even stop. I don't really know.
Right. Okay.
So what they're doing as well, but that's still a deal. And that's a deal again, is the exchange of documents, get them all signed. In theory, you've accomplished the purpose of the deal.
And so DealCloser, maybe at its core, is a productivity tool for deals.
Totally. Productivity, process improvement, process management. Yeah, we don't care what goes to our platform, and we don't really know what goes to our platform unless we're asked to look into something. And yeah, it doesn't matter to us.
And as far as where geographically where your customers are at, a deal in Canada and a deal in the US, I'm going to assume look very similar.
Yeah, especially in terms of process. Like I said, there's only so many ways to exchange documents, right? Right. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. We can translate DealCloser and it'll go anywhere. When I was at the law firm I used to be at, we've done a couple deals with Chinese law firms, and same process.
Okay.
So it's pretty much a global universal process, because again, it's the exchange of documents that need to get reviewed and signed, and generating versions as it goes back, as terms of the agreement go back and forth.
And this was an interesting one, Ivan. We talked a little briefly while we were waiting for you to get logged in, and this is pretty interesting. One of my questions, and I understand from a small company point of view, sitting in experts.com headquarters right now, and we're a small company much like you are. That you're wearing a lot of hats and there's a lot of requests for certain things, and you have to just sort of, prioritize. But I thought it would be really great if I was telling him my horror stories, Ivan, of having to take the articles of incorporation. And I think we're long past these days, but I had to drive them to the Secretary of State and get them stamped. And tell us about this potential for electronic filing through your platform.
Totally. So that we're lucky in Alberta that the Alberta Corporate Registry allows electronic filing. So you can file, I don't think anyone goes to the registry to actually hand over documents to get their certificate of incorporation. And I'm aware that they have an API that allows for filing through apps. There's a well-known software that does minute book management, and you can file with corporate registry through what's called CORS in Alberta from that software. So it's on the roadmap to be able to do that same thing. It's a question of prioritization.
Sure.
To be able to upload all the necessary documents to DealCloser, click file, and then it goes to CORS, and then you get a certificate of incorporation back. That would obviously be very useful to law firms of all sizes.
And useful to you as being able to offer that service.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It makes for a sticky product.
Yeah, it's a very sticky product. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Ivan, what have you got?
Yes, so I think we interrupted you. The original question was kind of if you could step us through the entrepreneurial journey from when you kicked off. You said that that PowerPoint that you started off with in 2014, you said?
16.
Up to essentially 2016 until today. Like, talk us through that.
Actually, I guess it was 2015, yeah. So we had that PowerPoint, or I've lost track of time. Anyways, we had the idea in like early on in our articling stage or articling journey. And then, like I said, we didn't do a whole lot because we were busy learning to be lawyers and practicing law and working at the firm. And then we became associates and still didn't do a whole lot. And then, I think in 2016, we created that PowerPoint and took it. So that part, I guess I've said already. And then built the non-functional prototype and just kept going to talk to people and trying to validate, like, is this a good idea? Like, would you use this? Would you commit to a beta if this product existed? And we actually even had some law firms pay us a very nominal amount for access to the beta. And that was the next step is so starting to build the product. And that took a while. That took a long time. And we still, the bar for an
MVP. So was that just you and the co-founder, or?
We hired contractors that we were introduced to. We kind of knew them already, but we were introduced to them in like an official sense, in a business sense, from the lawyer that invested in us and that made that first initial small investment. And they are now, one is our CTO, and they both joined our team full-time and working just on DealCloser. They used to have, basically they'd consult with startups and help them build their product. And then they liked what we were doing and they saw the value, they saw the problem, and they accepted to join our team. And now they're on our team. And it took about 6-7 months to get even the beta product out. And what's interesting with legal tech is like, you can't really have a broken product, even as a beta, even if you warn the firms it's a beta. And the bar, I think, for an MVP in a law firm is higher than we suspected. We released and we were missing some features that basically, it wasn't that it wasn't usable, but like we had to quickly scramble to develop further features to make it actually, when he still didn't even get product market fit yet at that point, but just to make it kind of like to even hit MVP. We underestimated the bar. We thought it was lower than it was. So that took time. And then, and I would say we only really got product market fit in the last 5 months. We knew what we needed to do to get it, but it just took time because, again, prioritization.
And is that development time?
Development.
Yeah.
Development. We don't have 100 engineers working on this, unfortunately. I wish we had.
Right.
We have 2 core people, then some part-time that help out here and there, and then some contractors, and just juggling limited time and money, right? So we do what we can, and and we knew we needed there was one key feature that we were missing that we released in February even, so it's not even been 5 months, and that feature now all of a sudden made DealCloser like product market fit. We had a product that was beyond MVP, like version 1. And so I think that covers the journey, I think.
Nice. So other than that seed infusion of capital, have you raised any sort of funding?
Yeah, we've raised
revenue or pre.
No, we're at revenue. We're at revenue. We're still early stage, but we're at revenue, and we have paying customers and paying happy customers. We're very proud of how much our users love it. We got our first Capterra review today. So that was cool, and it was 5 out of 5. So
nice.
So now we're legit, and I think we have a few more.
What do you mean you're legit? You're on LegalTechLIVE.
You're on LegalTechLIVE.
Even better, right? This is the bar. I can retire now.
There's
other bars to hit out for us.
Legal Tech podcast.
There have only been 53 companies in the existence of humanity
You're
to be on LegalTechLIVE.
You are.
It's an honor.
So,
in the top 100.
But happy paying customers, gives you that traction.
Exactly.
And having happy customers makes just about everybody happy. If they're pleased with with the service, that's a good feeling. It's a good affirmation that you were on the right track to begin with.
Yeah, and some of our clients, like our power users, it's like the backbone of their practice now, which is crazy to me. It's funny, my CTO used to say, like, when he wanted to roll out an update, kind of by 4 or 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock even, he'd be able to do it because no one would be on the system. This is in the early days. And now he's like, I can never get on there. There's always some people on the platform. And like, I guess he's up at like 1 a.m. just to finally release.
Wow.
Build we're releasing.
But that's good. I mean, so you've got good user retention. Just that's fantastic. And tell us that, Ivan, I'm sorry, did I cut you off? Looked like you had
No, I was going to say, what format is it, an app or is it web-based? How are you?
Yep, it's a web-based app. It's like very much a pure SaaS product. Access it from any device, any browser. And you log in online and you're good to go. No installing, no nothing.
Are we going to see it?
I'd love to show it to you guys.
And we've got Alan Rodriguez joined. Hi, Alan. Good to see you again. Alan.
I know Alan.
You know Alan. Okay.
Hey, Alan.
Small world. I guess you're going to have to relinquish power again twice.
Oh, I do.
I don't know if you're going to be able to get it back.
Yeah, if it's twice now, I don't know if I should give it back.
I don't know what the extradition treaties are between Canada and the U.S. I bet they're pretty easy, though.
I know how much it hurts me to give up that kind of power.
All right, let's. So, would you like a demo now?
Yeah, if you can do a quick demo, that'd be great.
Great. So I'm just getting it up and running. Just logging in.
And while you're getting that up and running, I do want to say, Ivan, you need to go swimming with the kids more often because you are on your game tonight.
Yes. That was a good swim. Thank you. I think I'm going to start training up for my Ironman finally.
Oh, good. I can't wait till you start running some more.
So one thing I'll say is I encourage people, if they like what they're seeing, go and start a free trial. Go and see it all for yourself.
And it looked like on the website, and tell me if this is still accurate, I did see there's a free 14-day trial. Is that still accurate?
Totally accurate. Either request a demo if you want us to walk you through it, or we are happy
hold up. Call to action at the end. Stand by.
Totally. Or start
make this appealing.
Okay. I'm going to share. Oh, is my screen?
Wait, you should do a transition from the old one to the new one, from the mock-up.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's go to the same screen we're about to see then. Yes. I think that is this one. So this is this is a screenshot showing the closing agenda. So, and this is the closing agenda now.
Ah, boy, that's nice to look at.
I see color. RGB. Where's the red?
The DealCloser blue.
There it is. RGB. Red,
and then, we're really proud of our UI and UX. Our product manager, our actually chief product officer, we gave him a promotion and title, which doesn't mean anything if you know how corporate law works. But yeah, he's our chief product officer, and he is an amazing front-end developer, and just an amazing sense of clean design and what works well, what doesn't. And he's always like hyper focused on user experience. And he has this rule that if I want to add a button, then I have to tell him which button to take away. Now, it's not actually a hard rule, but he really challenges me if I want to make the product do something. It's like, how are we going to make sure that the user experience isn't negatively impacted by, more complication?
Right.
And it used to be that I could be like, I want DealCloser to do this. And they listened to me because I was kind of the vision behind it, because I had to, this is where it came from. I lived the problem. But now I'll be like, hey, DealCloser should do this. And they'll be like, well, has a client asked for that? So they don't even listen to me anymore.
That's it.
Listen to the customer.
Listen to the customer.
And I'm happy that they do, but I'm kind of mad that they don't listen to me anymore.
But at the same time, it keeps the UI very clean. You can add a lot of features and make it, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
Exactly. And I trust the expert, which is our chief product officer, to he knows what he's doing, and I trust we'll get the features that we want and need, and that we hear the clients want and need, and it'll be integrated nicely, and that the days of me saying what DealCloser should do and what the next feature should be are over, and I've accepted that.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, so I'll do a very, very quick demo. So here's a project I've created on DealCloser. So I've uploaded these documents in bulk. This is a nonsense deal, but you can imagine you could have 10 documents or 1,000 documents, it doesn't matter. You can upload up to 250 documents at once. And then if I, for example, and these are Alberta documents, so they might look strange to some of the people watching this, but so I'll open this consent to act as director. I can view it. Here's the document I uploaded to DealCloser. It's been signed, so this document's already been signed. And I can see that because there's a check mark. If I want, I can see that there's 2 versions uploaded of the same document. And so I can generate a black line and check the difference between the 2, which is very important for corporate lawyers because otherwise they have to have the documents side by side, I guess, and somehow see the differences. So I think blacklining was a very valuable a tool added to the corporate lawyers world when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can imagine I uploaded both these documents, but if I had a collaborator, what we call a collaborator, which can be the other side or an accounting firm or whatever, but if I add a collaborator, they can upload documents. So now we're exchanging documents on the platform. I'll quickly just set up one document for signature. And then, if you guys want to see more, I can show more or we can stop there. Okay. So here's this document. It's a shareholders resolution. We have 2 ways of dealing with signatures. I'm going to just show one right now. This is basically the digital equivalent of the sign here sticky flag, which I'm sure you've all seen. That's at the
right.
assistant might put on the bottom of the document so the client knows where to sign in the physical world. This is the same thing, but it's digital. So I click add signature. I line up the dashed line. I select whichever signatory I want. In this case, it's Carla client. So I'll set her up in 3 spots. And then this document's ready to go. Now it's really important that there has to be good controls over ensuring not everybody needs to see everything on a deal. There might be a pre-close reorg step that only is internal to one side. And so the other side doesn't need to see it. So we have powerful permission system that allows on a per document basis and then a per party basis to control who sees what. You can do it. You can change permissions in bulk. You can go one at a time. You can do a subset of documents.
Okay.
There's multiple ways to deal with permissions. It's very simple, but it's very effective. So Carla has permission now to see this document and she hasn't signed it. So I'm going to switch over and log in as Carla. So she can access all of her projects from her phone, whatever device. I've set my signature. We have 2 ways. You can either type it, you type it and then pick a font. And then there's some legalese that pops up saying this is your signature, and it says every time you apply it, it's legally binding. You can also draw it. It's a lot easier on your phone to draw it than on a trackpad. And you can also email us a signature if you don't want these 2. If you want to use your own, you can email it to us. So I'm going to go into this project. I can see here's all the documents I've already signed. I haven't signed this one. If I have more documents that I'm not responsible to sign, but I have permission to see, I can view them all from here as well, easily allowing the client to review a bunch of documents from their phone. You don't have to email packages anymore, which is really nice. So I'm going to review and sign this. The document pops open. So here's the shareholders resolution. I'll sign the document. Just some legalese saying this is legally binding. Every time a document gets signed, they have to accept that. Okay. It's now a check mark. Same thing for the lawyer. That X is now a check mark. That widget was slightly lower. It's now back at 100. So I can, at a glance, see the status of the deal. So I'll view this document now as the lawyer. And there are the signatures.
Excellent. And then what do they do?
Voila.
They print it.
Using Montreal.
They export it. Here's my next question. You export it to any of their practice management software?
Yeah, so you can download all of these documents individually if you want, or you generate a closing book. So you export the closing book, make sure everything's good to go. It checks for mistakes like missing documents or missing signatures. It, in the back end, quickly generates. I then can download this, put this into any document management system, doesn't matter to us.
Okay.
And then when I open it, it has a PDF that's fully linked and fully, I can't get to it. Oh yeah, I can. It's fully bookmarked as well. And if you put this, you can put this on a USB, you can email it out, and then it also, like when you open it in Adobe or Preview, all the bookmarks are there. And this is probably what you would put into the document management system, not so much individual documents, but this package.
Okay.
So that's a very, very quick and very high level view of DealCloser. Of course, there's more nuances and more features, but I think that gets the gist across.
I think that gets the gist. I think that's good. And we're almost to that time, Ivan.
And last question is
finance time.
Call to action.
Wait, no, Ivan, I think don't you have a couple of finance questions you like to get to? You covered a couple of them, but you didn't.
Yeah, you were asking. I never answered about the investment question.
Yeah.
So you raised some money subsequent to the initial.
Yeah, we've done the friends and family. We have some loans, including there's like a government of Canada kind of like loan for like young entrepreneurs that we took advantage of. We have 2 large angel investments. So for me personally, it's a lot of money. Like in my world, this is like, I can't even fathom that amount of money yet. I hope one day this is successful and then I can. But in terms of a startup, it's a very modest amount that we've raised. We've been very efficient with our money. We're hoping to raise more, of course, but and do things bigger and faster. But always as frugal as possible. And that's kind of the funding history.
So what's the next step for funding? Is it another seed or are you guys?
Yeah, probably we're looking to do like a seed round. We're not anywhere near a Series A yet. We don't have the we don't have the size yet. We're still early.
Right.
But a seed round would be, that's what we're like aiming to do this year. That'll allow us to do, we really want to do a big focus on marketing and sales, just business development. We've done basically most of our money has gone to product development. It's cost almost all the money we've raised to build this product. It's not cheap to build a good product, I guess. Turns out. Right. It's not cheap time and financially. And then the next step is to raise the seed round and focus, always on product development. But we really we haven't done any marketing, and actually we've hired 1-400, which is Alan Rodriguez's.
No kidding.
Firm to help us with marketing, because we know they have the expertise in the legal world and legal tech, and so shout out to 1-400. Yeah. And we're excited to work with them because we have done like no marketing to date.
Okay, so you've shown us the demo.
I will say this:
how much the pricing of the product, and what does the client get out of it?
Great question. We display our pricing on our website, so you can go to dealcloser.com/pricing and check it out for yourself. We are $69 per month per user if you subscribe annually. So it's that times 12, and that's your fee. I think that's like 800 something bucks per person, or $79 going month to month. And with that, you get unlimited projects. You can invite unlimited number of clients. You can invite an unlimited number of collaborators. So you can get everything basically. And right now, because we haven't tiered it yet, we offer a feature which I don't know if any other legal tech company offers this, but so usually when you sign up, if the legal tech company lets you pick the location of storing the data, if they let you, if it's not just like a default in the US, you pick it once and then that's where your data is stored. But we've created an infrastructure that allows users to pick every deal where that specific deal's data should be stored. So if they pick the US, that deal's going in the US and all the backups and etc. If they pick Canada, same thing. And they can pick whatever they want each time they create a project. So that feature right now is included with the subscription because we haven't had a time yet to tier it and give it its own price. But probably soon that will be a separate additional, like you'd have to pay for that feature. Okay. So right now, long answer to your question is $69 or $79 per user per month, and it gives you everything unlimited.
All right. Documents, when the book is closed, is that deleted from your servers? Is it always there?
We keep that. And we have some very exciting tools coming out to help ensure non-tampering and the authenticity of documents, which will involve blockchain.
Very cool.
Yeah. My CTO can speak to it better, but I'm very excited about it. And I think it's a very unique thing we're doing with that. But yeah, it's stored, it's there forever. I mean, we're dealing with kilobytes of data. Every Word doc is tiny, so it's not a big deal for us to store it. So long as they're a user, everything's there. They can close the project and open it again at any time.
Okay.
But yeah, they'll have access to everything all the time, 24/7.
Excellent. Excellent. I do have to say this, Ivan, you know, my journalistic ethics may have been violated by having DealCloser on the show, because they did do a very nice blog post about me.
We did
in the past.
yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Totally gaming the system.
Yeah, and the reward came 6 months later.
And the reward came 6 months later.
We knew, though. We knew what we were doing at the time.
Very, very good strategic move.
Yeah.
So I will say that your company reminds me of two other guests we've had on previously. And I think, Nick, you probably remember.
One is sticking out. One is sticking out quite a bit for me, and I'm sure they're well aware of each other.
Right, and then the second one is related to the blockchain piece.
Oh yeah. There is. That's right.
I can probably guess who you're talking about for the first one.
Probably. But you guys are dabbling in a little bit different areas too.
Yeah. And this market is huge. There's room for players, and in fact, competition at this time is great because it's a lot of education right now, educating the market.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That this exists, that it's good to use.
Wild West. There's so many law firms and lawyers out there that are still nugging it out on paper.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. it's validation that there's something here to this idea. You know?
Yeah, there is. And the best part is, Ivan, they keep coming on our show. So, when they,
I mean, like we said, I retire after this.
This is when they become the multi-billion-dollar companies. Then,
all right, relax. Let's finish this up so we can have episode 54.
Yeah, let's do it. Amir, anything we didn't cover that we should cover?
No, I think this has been great. I mean, you guys saw the PowerPoint. I mean, I don't know how much more we could cover.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was epic. I mean, that was
great.
Massively epic.
Yeah, and we appreciate you doing that, because not everybody will share some of the embarrassing earlier stuff. I think
it's great. I mean, it just goes to show how little it takes to start something. I mean, it takes a little to start it. It takes a ton to execute on it. But
right. You basically bamboozled some idiot investor lawyer, and then all of a sudden it actually ended up being something.
Yeah.
and then now he's talking smack to all the other people that refuse to give you money.
Yeah.
The dream one day is to everyone who rejected us to be like, look where we are.
And Amir, I'm going to ask you one more question before I do the announcements of how they find you. But I'm getting really nervous over here. I've been out of power for way too long.
Yeah, I think I made you the host again.
Am I host again?
Yep. For the last
wow,
since the demo ended.
Do you see how that kind of power plays on me psychologically when I don't know that I'm?
Yeah. Well, you've had it for a while.
Really scary. I get really upset and nervous. Where do people find you, please?
dealcloser.com, and you can request a demo or just dive into a free trial, run a deal on that for 14 days, see if you can get it done. And we'd love to talk to anyone who wants to talk to us.
And I believe you guys are also at DealCloser Inc. on Twitter.
Yeah, everything. I think all of our platforms are DealCloser Inc.
Okay.
So Facebook, Instagram, even.
All right.
Is there a LinkedIn?
There is a LinkedIn, and I think it's also DealCloser Inc.
All right.
Okay.
Good. So we'll tag all that when this drops on Tuesday. And it looks like we don't have any pending questions. Alan popped in and popped out, but I let him know that there were some special shout outs for him.
Awesome.
And with that, we thank you, Amir Reshef of DealCloser, dealcloser.com. Check them out. If you have any questions, reach out to them and check out that 14-day trial. Amir, we thank you for being here for episode 53.
Thank you. Yeah.
This was a lot of fun. Thanks for inviting me, guys.
Thank you. And don't disappear after we stop recording. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll talk to you all soon.